And all we've ever seen is businesses failing and vacancies soaring. Those of us that are still there struggle. Traders, landlords, all of us. Being a precinct full of tourists, we need to trade extended hours. Many close early and many close for good. But this hurts everyone, and you need an offering. You need a nighttime economy, and it has been severely damaged. The lockout laws were incredibly stupid and have hurt. Tell me a resort town that doesn't have a live pulsating nightclub strip. You know, that's what people come here for. And what we need to do is appoint a mayor, a nighttime mayor responsible for the nighttime economy. They're doing this in Europe and they're appointing many, and it seems to work. These are ideas we should look into. So, just on this, there is a bloke called Matt Berry. He owns freelancer.com. And he's a leading thinker in business and innovation. And he does a lot of in-depth research, and he writes a lot of articles on this. And we need to read them. Better still, we need to get this sort of bloke up. Pay him. Get him up here. Get him looking at the place. We need these type of gold collar thinkers and doers, not consultants who borrow your watch to tell you the time, but we need people who actually have been successful in creating change. That should be the test. So let me say this once more on the light rail. Letting it hurtle down and through Burleigh is a monstrous mistake in the makings. When we were fighting or asking for a better outcome in the light rail and surface, we had rallies, we had town hall meetings, 600 people. But what we should have done, we should have marched, we should have been seen, we should have yelled invectives to people. And I think we can't be apathetic here. We need to do more. And the council this is what the council needs to do immediately. They immediately need to open up the parking and access to our entire strip. Not sell off car parks. What we should be doing is building more and making them free. They can't continually look for ways to rob our tourists and think they will not come back. Think they will come back. Tourists fundamentally want to relax. Do you know anyone who can relax if they're thinking about how much time is left on their parking meters? Council must recognise the opportunity cost of limiting parking, charging excessively for it, and then flogging the tourists with a $75 fine. It's the wrong mentality when parking receipts are more important than tourists. And I can tell you, holiday makers hate it and they hold grudges. I've heard them scream long after they've been pinged with these fines. And this is the concept, and it's a simple one, and it's proven. The longer a tourist stays in a precinct, the more they spend. And here's an idea we should go with. We should suspend parking charges immediately and advertise it in every one of our prospective drive markets. Maybe our tourism bodies could come up with a creative campaign around that. On second thoughts, we might go to someone else. And tell me, is that unreasonable to start thinking outside the box, to start looking for new thinking and new direction? There's a council review being undertaken very shortly on our tourism bodies, how they're structured, the personnel and the priorities. Fundamentally, this needs to be done and there needs to be change. And I need a few more people to second that. So what I want to see is one thing, younger people included. They're more creative, they're more connected, they have a better understanding of the people we want to bring here, the future tourists. We need them on board. We need a better mix of thinkers. And I can tell you what I'm truly sick of is this never-ending self-congratulatory stories of the marketing successes of the Gold Coast tourism bodies. They cherry-pick statistics and use them like a drunk uses a lamppost, more for support than illumination. They think hosting large one-off events is the answer, but these don't keep businesses going week in, week out. We need a constant stream of tourists who importantly spend. They can talk about all these tourist numbers, but the truth is the only indices that count are RevPAR, which is revenue per available room, and nights stayed. Both are historically low. Volume is important, but yield is everything. The last thing, and yet I think it's the only thing everyone I've spoken to agrees upon, is the damaging role the Bulletin newspaper plays in constantly blazing headlines that trash the coast and its people. To believe the Bulletin, we are all at once the crime, drug, bikie, murder and holiday hellhole and con artist capital of Australia. And these exaggerated, noxious headlines and sensationalised stories actually do real damage to our tourism product. Locals are fed this rubbish, and after a while it just forms their opinions and they repeat it. They repeat it and repeat it to family and friends, and that hurts. Then it runs in the national media, and that really hurts. And you've got to wonder why the Bulletin is so desperate to appear like the now defunct Melbourne Truth. And what sort of style does that tabloid journalism say about the desired readership? And hearing that its circulation has dived to around 17,000 a day through the week, it's clearly not winning subscribers or selling ads. I counted 3 or 4 genuine ads in that paper at some times. Ed Koch, the mayor of New York in the 1970s, he was trying to revive the place, which had plenty of social and financial problems, and also was the murder and crime capital of the world. He went to the newspapers, particularly the New York Post, and said, look, can you keep the crime reporting to the crime pages? Get it off the front page. And it was considered to have worked. Maybe we need to very politely ask the Bulletin to do the same. Because the reality is, none of us here see crime around us. Statistically, crime on the coast is historically very low. It's negligible, but we are told it's all around us. The only shitbags I ever see are in the Bulletin. Fear doesn't promote tourism. That we know definitely. And we have far better stories to tell. We have good communities, we have exceptional weather, great environment. You know, I can't believe in these May days why the rest of Australia isn't on the Gold Coast. We need to get them here. So that's all I've got to say, and I thank you for listening, your patience. And I'd like to think that some of you might get involved. You see merit in what I'm saying. You might forward this link. You might email. You might ring a counsellor. I think it's time that we all start to create an economy that's going to provide jobs for our kids. And look, I admit I'm not the most articulate and prescient thinkers to prosecute this case, so I need lots of other people to come forward and contribute. Hopefully, many of you will. Thanks again for listening. All the best. You know we're selling this for $10. It's a good book. All the best. Ta-da.